So today I started cleaning my apartment, and I've been neglecting it due to busyness lately, so it's quite a mess. And I found that my MP3 player no longer works. So I thought, hey, this would be a great opportunity. Why don't I use this boredom that I feel while cleaning to collect up some of my random thoughts, and each time I do, I'll come over and put it down on video, because I have so many random thoughts, but I don't really have a proper context to put them into another video. So first random thought. Whenever somebody goes around claiming that they were abducted by UFOs and experimented upon by aliens, I conclude that they're crazy. Not because I don't think that aliens might abduct a person. I don't think it's all that likely, but why I think they're crazy is that they go around saying that shit and expecting people to believe them. Personally, if I were abducted by UFOs and experimented upon by aliens, I'd keep that shit to myself, because the sane thing to think is that nobody's going to believe your ass, and they're just going to think you're crazy. Right? Why would you think that anybody would believe you? You'd have to be fucking crazy. Also, if I was abducted by UFOs and experimented upon by aliens, I would seriously consider that I might actually be crazy. Like, I'd be like, maybe, I mean, I knew this was coming, I finally just fucking cracked. People were saying it for years. The day has arrived. And really, that's kind of the healthy thing to think, because the first rule of being crazy is you can't admit you're crazy. So if you're abducted by UFOs, experimented upon by aliens, the craziest thing you can possibly think is, I'm not crazy, this really happened. Sometimes when I'm running on the treadmill in the fitness club, I'll see one of these ghost hunter shows or paranormal investigator shows. There's a lot of them, I don't even know their names. I mean, let's first get this straight. There's no such thing as ghosts, come on. But here's why I would love to work on one of those shows and be in there. First of all, I'd be getting high before I went to one of those things. It'd make it a lot more fun. Another is, I'd be the skeptic of the group, alright? I'd always be trying to come up with rational explanations for things, explaining how ghosts don't exist, but also I would be surreptitiously doing things that I, as the skeptic, couldn't explain. I actually have a gift for moving very quickly and quietly when people aren't looking. And, I'd even bring, like, some sophisticated devices to interfere with the tape recorders and imprint EVPs. And then I'd be like, listen, there must be a rational explanation. I can't think of it at the moment, but come on, there's no ghost. And they'd be like, come on, man, this is clearly an EVP. And I'd be like, it's probably the radio or something. The EVP said, or we're going to kill you, ghost hunting motherfuckers. Listen, that could be anything. You probably misheard it. Nobody would suspect me of doing that shit, but I'd be behind it all. Oh, man. If you're hiring ghost hunters or paranormal, whatever you guys call your show these days. So I saw this thing on the Young Turks about how Mayor Bloomberg now wants all the businesses that sell cigarettes to hide them from the public so they're not visible. Yeah, whatever. And it reminded me of the whole soda bans. Okay, first of all, okay, now we have small sodas, nobody's going to be raging fat asses anymore. That's how that works. But what bothers me is this. Okay, the Young Turks, they say, and it kind of makes sense because New York, they have to pay for the health care, blah, 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 blah. Well, listen, freedom has a price, bitch. And sometimes you have to spend a few extra nickels so that the fat people can get treatment because they've had their big fucking sodas, as if that's the causal relationship in all this. Alright? I would rather take an entire 10% of all of my money and give it to treating fat asses than live in your pathetic, sanitized, compulsory health environment. Eat shit and die, Mayor Bloomberg. Alright? And the thing is, I never drink soda. I don't even eat that much sugar. You know what I had to eat today? A giant plate of raw vegetables. That's actually pretty common as dietary choices go for me. Sugar snap peas, baby carrots, some broccoli cut up, dipped in buttermilk ranch dressing. Just a big plate, like 2.5 pounds, because that shit doesn't have a lot of calories, and you have to eat quite a bit of it. Point being, it feels good to do good things for your body, to eat right, and to exercise. But you know what? Once it's compulsory, well, it doesn't feel good. Then you're just towing the line like a lick-spittle fucking bitch. Life has no meaning, and there's no point in even doing it. It doesn't feel good to do good things for your body if you don't have any fucking choice. Did I already say this? Eat shit and die, Mayor Bloomberg. A while back, Cardinal Virtues and Inmendum were having some sort of debate on taxing cigarettes. Naturally, it occurred to me that I should probably find a way to jump into the conversation and insult both of them. But all the videos were too fucking long, and I mean, do I seem like a guy who isn't fucking lazy? Anyway, I was thinking about something that used to annoy me a lot and still annoys me a little, and it's this. Whenever you find somebody who's really pro banning cigarettes in restaurants and bars and stuff, if there's somebody saying, oh, we shouldn't let people smoke, we should have a state law that prevents people from smoking in restaurants and bars, just look at them and you'll notice that they're fat. Every time. Really fat. Now, I used to think something like, clearly this fat person is riddled with vice, and they feel like they should be allowed to indulge their vice however and whenever they want without any restriction, but then they can't even understand another person having another vice and being allowed to indulge that vice. What a motherfucking asshole. What a epic empathy fail. But then I realized what's going on, and it's this. These are fat people who are actually insecure about being fat. They know they're fat, and they think that people are judging them. Basically, your Lacey Green type of fat person. So, what they do is they try to draw attention to the good health choices that they make, namely not smoking. So they're like, oh, that cigarette smoking is so disgusting, and it's like, it can give you emphysema and lung cancer and rabies and scabies, because they're just trying to, you know, accentuate the good health choices that they've made, however few those might be. I mean, it's still pretty annoying, though. It's like, just shut up. Feel free to bring this up to the next fat person who feels like we should ban cigarette smoking in public places. And quit being such a fucking bitch, it's just a little secondhand smoke. So, I saw this video a couple of weeks back that made me think of something that I never thought of before, which is the feminist types. They love to say how everything is the white man's fault and the patriarchy is all about the white man, but white men seem to be the most receptive type of men to the feminist message. And that got me thinking, like, I actually haven't ever seen any man other than a white man call himself a feminist. But then this also got me thinking, what traits do male feminists have in common? So, get rid of all the preconceptions. Just have the data mining equipment go through all of the files in my brain and search for commonalities. And you know what the single most common trait of male feminists is? Like, it's like a disproportionate number of them have this. Facial hair. Specifically like a big bushy beard. Now, it's hard to say why this is. Naturally I have these speculations, but nothing solid. My first one is, they're all weak, unmanly men, and they have facial hair to hide their recessed, pathetic chin. Another would be just like, they're too lazy to, like, think for themselves, let alone shave. I don't know. But yeah, male feminists, white, bearded. Coughlin's financial woes were actually something of an inconvenience to me. And yes, I am what is important here. But the thing is, I was mounting a multi-tiered trolling campaign against Coughlin, just, you know, for some nice fun YouTube drama. And then Stizor and some gorilla, whatever, or all these people are trying to expose Coughlin Sprott. And I actually got a number of PMs asking me to join in, do videos, and I said something like, a fool and his money will soon be parted. If some suckers want to, you know, give Coughlin some money, brother, that's their problem. You know, it's no interest to me for a number of reasons. One, I think it's a really unhealthy impulse to go around trying to catch people doing things wrong. Two, the whole thing just seems very boring. And I guess I just had those two. But here's the thing. Then Coughlin comes out, and it turns out he is, like, sort of taking the money. And the explanation he gives, let's just say I believe it. And, you know, I'm kind of inclined to. It's consistent with his personality type, you know. He's run into financial troubles. He was giving some of the money to charity, but he's kind of a charity himself. He takes some of the money for himself. And people are like, yeah, moral, blah, blah, blah. Just like, shut the fuck up. Honestly, it makes me like Coughlin more than ever. The thing is, you know, when you're backed into a corner, you have nothing but some pretty dismal options, okay? You can't just lay down and die. It's not in the nature of a man to just say, oh, well, I guess I'll just lay down and die, unless you're in Mendham, but even he's not dead, so, I mean, so what do? It's not like you went out and, like, stabbed people and took their fucking money. It's not even like he begged for the money. He gave something for the money. He made some Coughlin original remakes of some songs. Copyright laws, oh, fuck that tedious horse shit. I don't care about copyright motherfucking laws. Okay? He made something original, and he sold it. And he said he was going to give the money to a charity, and he did, just not the charity that he said. And his reason for not saying, I'm taking the money for me, it's pride, and it's understandable. You don't want to admit that you've come to dire financial straits, okay? Like, I like the guy, I do. This is why, and of course, I'm not going to, I mean, again, I was inconvenienced because, like, I had this multi-tiered trolling attack just poised, ready to go, and then this happens, and it's like, I don't attack people when they're, like, in a bad situation. I like to attack people when they're good and strong, you know, because they put up a good fight that way. I forget what my point was. Yeah, and it's like these moralizers, really. If you haven't been in the kind of situation where you got to do some shit where you're not proud of, well, bully for you. And if you have been in that situation and you're still condemning Coughlin, then fuck you. And now I know what you're going to say. Well, Coughlin should have managed his business better. He should have, like, invested in, like, a nice regular savings account where he could have earned interest, and then he would have a bulwark against his financial woes. Well, listen, sometimes when you live life to its fullest, balls to the wall, with narrow margin, occasionally you come up short. And you know, that's a life choice, and I respect that choice. Like, living life to its fullest, and sometimes, woe is you, some bad shit happens, and you're not ready for it. Well, if I have to spend time with a person like that, or a person who's always about the safety and security and they never take any risks, well, I'm going to spend my time with the bipolar wrecking ball, because that motherfucker is more fun, and he knows how to live, just not long term. This right here is ginger tea. I wasn't going to do a thought about this, but I had it in my hand. It tastes, if I had to, you know, put too fine of a point on it, it tastes like pine sol mixed with battery acid and then heated. For some reason, I really like it. You know, one thing that I find kind of puzzling is celebrity worship. Like, when people care about the day-to-day lives of movie stars, TV stars, singers, like, why do we care who Britney Spears is dating? Why do we care about that girl from Dawson's Creek and the gay guy, Tom Cruise? When I say we, I mean you, because I don't care. The way I look at it is kind of like this. If I go to a restaurant and I order some food, there's a cook who makes this food. He prepares it, you know, and I can enjoy it. He's created a product, and then I consume it. But it doesn't increase my enjoyment to go back there and talk to that cook and be like, what inspired you to, you know, cook it just this way? What are your hopes and dreams? Could you give me a run-through of your day-to-day life, you know, just so I can have better insight into that product which I just consumed? No, I'm like, get in the fucking kitchen and make me a goddamn burger or steak or what the fuck ever. I don't want to see your goddamn face otherwise. Similarly, I don't care about the celebrities. Just make me some good movies, make me some good shows, and sing me some good songs, but otherwise, get out of my face. I just don't give a damn.